Kellen Moore is your new head coach for the New Orleans Saints, and what does the future look like for Derek Carr and the Saints? Those will be the things we'll talk about in today's video. Welcome everybody to the BrewCrew channel. My name is Hayden Brewer, and let's get on into the video. So, Kellen Moore, it was announced earlier today that Kellen Moore has officially signed as the new head coach for the New Orleans Saints. Of course, the man who was the front runner for many weeks, many days. Of course, now Super Bowl champion with the Eagles, and of course has now officially signed a contract as the new head coach for the New Orleans Saints. I did also see earlier that he will be doing his first press conference with the Saints on Thursday at 11:30. So definitely we'll try to keep up with what he says in the press conference, how it goes, and definitely how the first impressions go and how I feel. How do I feel about this? I definitely feel like this was of course a sort of right choice or the perfect choice or something. Of course, he's now the youngest head coach in Saints history, now beating Sean Payton, who was the former youngest head coach to coach for the Saints. And of course, I mean, there's a little bit of iffiness from some fans or what it is because we don't know what we're going to see from him as a head coach because he's mostly been a coordinator for his time in the NFL. He's a former QB coach with the Cowboys in 2018. Then he went from 2019 to 2022 as a QB coach for offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Then he went 1 year as the Chargers offensive coordinator, and then of course this last season as the Eagles offensive coordinator, of course helping out the Eagles go on to win a Super Bowl. And so there's definitely some high hopes of what he could do, especially as an offensive mind. He can definitely help offense in a way, especially with Glenn Kubiak, but there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be filled, especially around him, like defensive coordinator, other position coaches, which we have had looked at, and I think we are trying to hire some position coaches and all that. There is, of course, in the works probably our new defense coordinator to be the former Chargers head coach. I can't remember his name. I don't have his name pulled up, but I'll probably pop it on the screen so you guys know who it is and probably pop up a picture or whatever. But he potentially would be the next defensive coordinator, kind of has history a little bit with Kellen Moore, so definitely that, and then definitely wanting to see how he is with players, how he is as a head coach with the team, with the rest of the staff, really. And there's a lot of players who are definitely excited to see him. Like I saw Rashid Shaheed, our wide receiver, definitely was very excited to see Kellen Moore as our new head coach. Definitely excited. A lot of other players are excited to see, and we'll just have to wait and see how the rest of this offseason goes with Kellen Moore as the head coach. That then leads us to the other big question and kind of big story right now for the Saints is what's the news on with Derek Carr. Derek Carr, it was announced on the Super Bowl on Sunday at the Super Bowl, I believe on NFL Network or something, that the Saints had decided to see how these next few days would go with Derek Carr, and they would make a decision on what to do with Carr. That decision, potentially don't know what that decision will be, since it's probably not going to be trading him because in his contract he has a no trade clause in his contract with us. So we can't really trade him this offseason. So what does that mean? What are the choices that the team is going to potentially do? I think personally the team will probably either try to cut him, but that's going to be probably a lot of money or something like that they'll lose to try to still pay him or whatever because he's still under a contract with us right now. But again, like I said before, a no trade clause. So it's either we cut him or he just goes on to maybe be a veteran backup for Spencer Rattler or whoever. But mostly Spencer Rattler because I feel like he's the best choice, especially with the offensive mind head coach in Kellen Moore, of course, doing it with a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, who is a very good arm quarterback and could run around and be mobile. Spencer Rattler can be that. That's what he did in a couple of games that he started in for us. So that's definitely what I can think is going to happen. I still don't think that we need to draft a QB in the first round. I still think we have to focus on what we really need, and probably either would be like some other key elements on our offense, probably the offensive line, or probably at the defense position, especially at cornerback, because I haven't really seen anything about like Paulson Adebo. Still haven't seen anything about Tyrann Mathieu, if they're still planning on trading him. I don't think they are. I don't really know. I don't know if that's still out there, because that was something I talked about in my previous video about Tyrann Mathieu potentially being traded, us trading him or something. So I don't know. So also in that same time that I was talking about Tyrann Mathieu, before that I was talking about Derek Carr. So of course, y'all probably, if y'all remember from the previous video, I talked about the team was potentially thinking about trading Derek Carr to the Steelers. That was a rumor. So that rumor is not true, since us fans, especially me, now found out that he does not have a trade clause. He has a no trade clause, so he can't be traded. So I'm pretty sure either it means he's going to become a veteran backup or he's going to get cut from the team, because like you can't trade him, and what's going to happen if you do start him? I know there's going to be a lot of fans who are not going to like that, because we don't know, because also like there was the iffiness of like Kellen Moore, if he was going to become the head coach, there was like the stuff where like, oh my goodness, he's probably not going to become the head coach, because he was saying like he didn't really like how our quarterback room was looking. People thought it was mostly just because of Derek Carr. I mean, he's kind of come out and talked about Derek Carr as well. He says respect him, seen how long he's been in the league, and like he's been in the league for a good long time, but he hasn't played like the quarterback that some of us thought he would play like when he was with the Raiders for a couple years. You know, like I don't know, because like when he's healthy, we can probably get the Derek Carr that had a really great 2 game stretch, you know, this past season. But then it's like that's kind of the question, like what Derek Carr are you going to get for the season? Are you going to get the Derek Carr who is a really good passer, could definitely still roll out and try to buy time to throw the ball, or are we going to get the Derek Carr where he plays 2 good games and then the rest of the season he's going to be awful, he's going to get injured, he's going to be injury prone, he's going to be out for almost the whole season, and we got to rely on our backup who would probably go on to play much better than him and make you think, maybe we should have started him instead of Derek. And I feel like that's probably what would happen if Derek Carr is still the starter, but I don't know. The decision hasn't been made yet. It probably will be made at some point during the season. I don't know for sure. Not during the season. During this week. Sorry, my brain fart. Some point this week. Don't know when this week. Don't know if it's going to be during the press conference this Thursday. Don't know if it's going to be at the end of the week. They just said a couple days. They just said in the next few days they're going to just see and talk with Derek Carr or whatever I think it is. And they're just going to figure out as it goes is what it's what it's looking like. So again, I don't know. Probably, like I said before, the choices are either they're going to cut him or maybe make him a backup or something. Just make him a veteran backup for Spencer Rattler, which again, like I said before, go with him. And I'm not saying don't go with Jake Haener. Maybe Jake Haener has a pretty good off-season training camp, and then you go with him if he has it better than Spencer Rattler. But I feel like Rattler's the better choice, especially if you have 2 offensive-minded coaches in Kellen Moore and, of course, our offensive coordinator, Kubiak, and Kubiak as well. So you make Spencer Rattler your quarterback, and I'm not saying Jake Haener couldn't be, but it's like it's kind of going back to that one time we started Jake Haener, and he was horrible during the first half, and then once Spencer Rattler came in, he played lights out and was amazing. So it's like I feel like definitely he should be the better choice for quarterback if we do not start Derek, if we end up cutting him. And then, like I said before, maybe you do still, if you cut Derek Carr, maybe yes, you do still get a quarterback, but you don't get him in the first round in the draft. Like maybe second, third round, heck, even fourth round. I don't care at this point. Just as long as it's not Jalen Milroe. If it's Jalen Milroe, there's no possible way that man is going to get playing time in the regular season. Like I don't still even see him making it past the fifth round. I think he's either going to be a sixth, seventh, or undrafted. Because he didn't even perform well in the Senior Bowl. I didn't really talk about that in the last video, but he didn't perform well in the Senior Bowl. He didn't perform well in his final game in the bowl game. And the only great stat he had was the rushing stats. 20 touchdowns on the ground and I think over like 700-800 yards on the ground. I can't remember. But excuse me. But like you do, if you still want to go for a quarterback, go for a quarterback. But if you keep Derek Carr as a backup, don't go for a quarterback then. But if you cut him, go for a quarterback. Just not Jalen Milroe. That's all I really gotta say. So that's it. Alright guys, I know this was like a shorter video today, but mostly just wanted to talk about those two things with Derek Carr and Kellen Moore. So yeah, let me know what y'all guys think about Kellen Moore becoming the new head coach, and what should the Saints do with Derek Carr at the quarterback position? Should we still keep him around? Should we cut him? Or what? If you guys know anything, definitely probably let me know, or definitely or whatever. I don't care. Definitely, but leave a comment down below. And with that being said, if you guys like this video and enjoyed it, definitely like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell for future videos on the channel. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.